It could be this simple. You're answering a call, checking a text message, or doing your makeup. You're distracted just for a second. You run off the road, hit something, and life is never the same again. You might be injured permanently. You might kill a pedestrian or face time in jail. You might kill your passenger, your best friend, your relative, or even yourself. Recent driving statistics show that at any given hour during the day, more than 1 million drivers were using a handheld phone. The majority of these drivers were between the ages of 16 and 24. More than half of all deadly crashes nationwide are runoff road crashes. And the most dangerous roads aren't our interstates. They're the rural roads like this one, where the shoulders are narrow and there aren't medians between you and the oncoming traffic. Departments of transportation across the nation are adding low-cost safety features, such as rumble strips, to help you avoid a runoff road crash. But these safety improvements take time and money. You can start reducing runoff road crashes right now by being a safer, more attentive driver. In this series, we'll show you how to drive more safely and why your safety on the road matters to everyone. Nationwide, half of deadly car crashes are runoff road crashes, a statistic that's brought home to hundreds of thousands of people each year, the families and friends of victims most of all.
And on I-20, on their way home, they had an accident where they lost control of the car, overcorrected, and came off the other side of the road and went to a tree. And Kelsey was killed instantly. Just trying to get through one day at a time. You know, it's been 4 years now, and it gets better, but it's still, it comes at you when you least expect it, and you don't have, I went from having one child who I thought about 24/7, always worrying about where she was, what was going on, taking care of her, to now I don't have any children, and it's, I've had to rework my whole life.
We know it was an accident, but again, we'd like people to know, just remind yourself, cell phones, cameras, don't be doing that stuff when you're driving down the road.
Nearly all of us have experienced the loss of a loved one, friend, or coworker caused by a tragic runoff road crash, and those who survive still pay a high price.
We were just going around the curve, and it was a slow curve, and you just went around the curve, and she ran off the road, overcorrected, hit a ditch, the car flipped, the back of the car hit a tree, which threw us out at that point. So me and her both went out the back glass, with no seatbelts. We both went out the back glass. She hit a tree and broke her neck and her back on impact. I went between two trees less than 36 inches apart and landed. It was kind of hard because I was in a coma a month, and then they didn't want anyone to tell me about my friend dying in the hospital.
Is she gonna make it? Is she gonna make it? Is she gonna make it? Tell us, is she gonna make it? And they kept saying, we can't tell you that yet. We can't tell you that. They came to us on 3 occasions and told us face to face that she wasn't gonna make it, that her injuries were too severe.
Some people can look at my life and say, darn, it must suck to be you. But in my eyes, I'm very thankful and happy for my life. Yeah, I mean, looking at me, you can tell some stuff is wrong, but there's so much internal stuff that you can't see unless you're my parents or my sister or my friends who are around me a lot. But I'm very thankful for my life, with or without the problems I have.
Mine would be, remember the name Lindsay Craven. Her parents can't touch her anymore because of just an act of being irresponsible and not buckling up.
In September of 1993, I had a near-fatal car accident on my way home, driving tired, driving sleepy, all the things that you shouldn't do. My list of injuries was numerous. I had a closed skull fracture, broken ribs, punctured lung, internal injuries, broken hip, broken legs, and I survived this accident. Since my accident, I've made a complete recovery. I'm now a deputy with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office and campaigning against anybody that should ever decide to drive tired and drive sleepy again.
We can eliminate loss for thousands of people every year because runoff road crashes can be prevented. Your Department of Transportation is improving roads with wider shoulders and better signs. They're adding raised pavement markers, rumble strips, and rumble stripes, which act like warning alarms for drivers who veered off course. These improvements can make a tremendous difference. But the person with the most power to make a difference is you. Drive safely for yourself and for others. That's the sound of a crash being prevented. The sound of a car crossing the edge line of a roadway and encountering a rumble strip. Rumble strips are raised or grooved patterns in the pavement. Rumble stripes are raised or grooved patterns within the pavement edge line marking or center line markings. Drive over one and your car vibrates. Your tires make noise. Rumble strips and rumble stripes act as alarms for drivers, letting you know if your car has veered out of the lane. Your Department of Transportation has been adding rumble strips, rumble stripes, and other safety features to many of our rural roads and interstate highways. They're building out wider shoulders to give you a bigger safety zone, removing trees in hazardous locations, and reducing the drop-off between the paved road and the shoulder to make it safer to get your vehicle back on the road. They're installing wider pavement markings, as well as raised pavement markers, and signs like these at curves to help keep drivers on the road. While there are many reasons for runoff road crashes, one of the main causes is sleepy drivers, drivers who think they can make it home or who think that they have to make it home. Rumble strips are a literal wake-up call for drowsy drivers. Drivers not paying attention are another major reason that vehicles run off the road. Some drivers may be distracted when eating or reaching to change a CD or turn to a different radio station. They look down for an instant, and before they realize what has happened, they have run off the road or crossed the center line. Cell phone use is just as or even more hazardous. Research shows that people on the phone or text messaging drive a lot like people who've been drinking. Again, rumble strips and rumble stripes sound the alarm and get the driver's attention before it's too late. Rumble strips also alert you to changes in traffic patterns, letting you know to slow down or that a traffic signal or toll plaza is coming up. They help reduce highway hypnosis, that checked-out feeling some drivers get when they drive long stretches of monotonous road. Rumble strips work, reducing runoff road crashes by as much as 80%. That's a significant reduction that will prevent thousands of runoff road crashes from occurring. A shoulder rumble strip has the added benefit of providing a warning which may prevent an inattentive or drowsy driver from traveling very far onto the shoulder and possibly striking a parked car, a bicyclist, or a pedestrian. A rumble strip may also help a driver locate the edge of the travel lane during periods of heavy rain, in fog, or at night. The Department of Transportation is also using rumble stripes on the edge line of the road and in the center line of the roadway to help drivers maintain their proper lane position under condition of poor or limited visibility. Rumble strips and rumble stripes are being installed on roadways across the nation in a manner that balances the needs of all roadway users, including bicyclists and motorcyclists. Rumble strips and rumble stripes are two of the most cost-effective highway safety improvements, reducing runoff road crashes by as much as 80%. But adding them still takes money and time. In the meantime, every one of us can do our part to improve the odds every time we get behind the wheel by paying attention and using safe driving techniques. Remember the 3 R's of safety when it comes to rumble strips or rumble stripes. Recognize rumble strips and rumble stripes when you see them on the roadway. Be ready to react in a calm manner if you run off the road and encounter these safety devices. Stay off the gas and off the brake. Allow the rumble strip to help you recover safely. If you could prevent pain, heartache, loss for yourself and others, you would. That's the thing about single-car runoff road crashes. They're totally preventable.
Of the collisions I have investigated, some of the reasons for run-off-the-road crashes are driving too fast for conditions and simply not paying attention, especially in rural areas where we have sharp curves, steep drop-offs, and narrow shoulders, leaving very little room for error.
In my 16 years as a state trooper, I've seen it all. I've seen crashes caused by playing with the radio, putting on makeup, or eating on the run. And when you add today's technology such as cell phones, text messaging, and navigational devices, it's even worse. All it takes is a split second of inattention to run off the road.
While the installation of new safety features such as rumble strips and rumble stripes can help prevent runoff road crashes, ultimately, safety depends on you. Obey the speed limit and slow down. Driving too fast for conditions is a factor in half of all runoff road crashes. Distracted driving also contributes to 1 out of every 3 vehicle crashes. When you eat, change the radio, use a cell phone, send a text message, or put on makeup, you're distracted. Across the nation, crashes with multiple fatalities started when a driver who was text messaging or using a handheld cell phone ran off the road. So don't be tempted to do something else while you're driving. Keep your mind and eyes on the road.
Driving at night increases the risk of being involved in a run-off-the-road collision. You have additional factors such as fatigue, limited visibility, and impaired driving.
Late night is a peak time for run-off-the-road crashes. Be alert, awake, and alcohol and drug-free. If you're too sleepy to drive, don't. And always, always buckle up before you drive. Seat belts are the single best way to protect yourself and your passengers in a crash.
First responders see firsthand what a difference a seatbelt can really make. To get in the car and take that simple action of buckling up can be the difference between walking away with a few bruises and never walking again. It really can make a difference.
And if you do run off the road, learn the driving skills to maneuver back safely. The #1 tip from America's best drivers: don't overreact. Your Department of Transportation is working to improve road safety. But the department doesn't have the money to install safety improvements such as rumble strips and rumble stripes everywhere at once. With or without these improvements, how you drive makes a huge difference.
What you do behind the wheel in a split second can make a world of difference. The first thing to remember if you find yourself driving off the road is to stay calm. Overreacting is the worst thing you can do. If you run off the road, remain calm. Keep a firm grip on the steering wheel, stay off the brake, stay off the gas, and quickly check for traffic in the front and the rear. If possible, reduce your speed by coasting down to 20 or 30 miles an hour. Align your off-road wheels with the road about 12 to 18 inches off the edge so that both tires are free of the pavement. We call this straddling. It keeps the tires from scrubbing the pavement and gives you more control. With small inputs, steer back onto the road. As soon as your front tires strike the road's edge, apply pressure to the steering wheel to keep your vehicle from crossing into oncoming traffic. If you can't drive back onto the road, drive as far off the edge as you can safely. Gradually come to a stop and call for help.
Hydroplaning and tire blowouts can also send your car off the road. Keep tires in good shape and inflated to the right pressure.
Tire pressures are very important. It's the most important thing on your vehicle. That's what keeps the tires to the road, keeps contact with the road. Adequate tire pressures can always be found on the door placard of your car and should be checked at least once a month. Driving on underinflated tires on a waterlogged road is extremely hazardous and can create a hydroplaning situation. If you feel the car start to hydroplane, the important factor to remember is to not panic, don't slam on the brakes, or do any sudden movements with your steering wheel. If you must use the brakes, use them gently. If you have anti-lock brakes, they will pump the brakes for you. gain control of the vehicle, and then proceed on.
A tire blowout can be frightening. You may hear a loud booming sound. But the blowout itself won't cause the vehicle to crash. It's the driver's reaction that matters.
If you were to experience a blowout, just remember to stay calm, accelerate briefly to overcome the drag. Do not slam on your brakes. Gradually slow down as traffic allows and move to the right-hand side of the road.
Additional funding will bring more safety improvements like rumble strips that save lives. But as drivers, we need to do our part for our own safety and because others are counting on us. The painful losses that come with runoff road crashes can last a lifetime for you and the ones you love. These are losses you can prevent. Practice safe, defensive driving. Pay attention. Slow down. Wear a seatbelt every time. And talk to other drivers about safety. Remember the 3 R's of safety when it comes to rumble strips or rumble stripes. Recognize rumble strips and rumble stripes when you see them on the roadway. Be ready to react in a calm manner if you run off the road and encounter these safety devices. Stay off the gas and off the brake. Allow the rumble strip to help you recover safely. Help the Department of Transportation build safety into your drive. For additional information on roadway safety, please visit www.roadwaysafety.org. For more information about how you can help prevent runoff road crashes, additional resources are included on this DVD. They are provided by the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety, the Roadway Safety Foundation, Michelin North America, and SCDOT.